Those investors who had purchased Nvidia stock just over a year ago or slightly before that and then held on to it saw some of the most impressive, lucrative gains across the whole of the stock market in 2023. If you had purchased Nvidia in October 2022 when it was around $112.27 per share, you would have made a 330% return in just over a year. That is insane. But has Nvidia now reached its maximum value, or actually is it at the early stages of a longer term upward trend? Is it now too late to add this company to your portfolio? If you watched my last portfolio update video, which I will leave linked on the screen now if you do want to check it out, you will know that I actually recently started buying Nvidia stock. This seems late and it seems like I've completely missed the boat, but in my opinion, based on my own research, I think there is still a lot of future growth left in this company for the midterm and the longer term. And I'll tell you why in this video and my strategy moving forward. Their Q3 earnings seemed like a moment of collective realization when they posted incredible results. You can see here that their total revenue was $18.12 billion, increasing by 206% from the previous year. And their growth didn't stop there either. They posted that their GAAP earnings per share were up by 12 times from a year ago to $3.71, and their non-GAAP earnings to $4.02, representing a 6-time increase from a year before. So it's safe to say that their Q3 earnings was one of their biggest earnings report to date, but this hasn't actually come out of nowhere. They have been beating expectations for a while now, and we can see that actually when you dive into this company, they are financially very sound. But not only was their total revenue up by 206% year over year, their data center revenue was also up by 279% year over year. This means that their data center revenue quadrupled from the year before, and their gaming revenue also 81% up year over year. So all round, the Nvidia business has been growing rapidly. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering which platform I'm actually using to do all of my stock research on, it's a platform called Seeking Alpha Premium. If you want to try it out for 7 days completely free of charge, use my link in the description below. The AI revolution refers to the rapid advancement and integration of artificial intelligence into various sectors within society. And its adoption is something that we are seeing happen incredibly fast across pretty much every sector out there. It's undeniably here and it's not going anywhere. Nvidia's CEO was already thinking about this years and years ago, and actually he shifted Nvidia's focus towards AI back in 2013, well before it became mainstream technology, so they have been and continue to be on the edge of development. This means that they were positioned perfectly to benefit when the time was right, and that's exactly what we've seen happen. I strongly believe that AI will completely reshape the world. And we are in very, very early days. Actually, we are only coming out of year one. Although the rise of AI and big data began back in the early 2000s, it's only now becoming widely known, widely adopted, and actually becoming mainstream, I guess since the rise of ChatGPT. And with this big change, this big shift happening in society, Nvidia is becoming a bit of a necessity. So not a want, a necessity to many companies, because their GPUs are needed to power generative AI. And we've seen the demand for AI capable GPUs actually soar, and Nvidia have been there to provide that. Back in August 2023, which seems like a lifetime ago now, according to various pieces of research, Nvidia accounted for more than 70% of all AI chip sales. Microsoft alone spent hundreds of millions of dollars on Nvidia's A100 chips to build ChatGPT. And Tesla are using Nvidia's chips to power autonomous driving, with Elon Musk actually saying the following: "We're using a lot of Nvidia hardware. We'll actually take Nvidia hardware as fast as they will deliver it to us." So clearly they have the market share and they are in the lead, but we'll discuss more about this and how they may or may not remain in the lead later on in the video. But the bottom line here is that I wanted a company inside my portfolio that was at the forefront of allowing this AI revolution to continue and was actually providing the necessary infrastructure for it to do so. But of course, I could have chosen to add a variety of different companies to give me this exposure: AMD, Intel, or TSM. I researched all of these and decided on Nvidia for a few reasons, but that isn't to say that I didn't like the other options and there weren't some other fantastic options out there. For example, I really liked AMD. And if I had more money to put in my portfolio, I probably would have got myself some exposure to them as well. And the reason I liked AMD in particular is because they offer cost-effective solutions for businesses. So I do plan to keep a close eye on them because there is a potential that they become very competitive on the pricing front. And their newest chip is also pretty impressive. But here are some thoughts that I had. Nvidia are expecting to release their new super chip H200 in Q2 this year. It's a big upgrade to their H100 chips, and it will allow faster memory and more bandwidth for generative AI workloads, as they are the first to use HBM3E memory technology. Their H100s have been and continue to be extremely in demand, with Nvidia actually sometimes struggling to keep up with the high demand, but now they are releasing an even better version, which is good for companies wanting to integrate generative AI into their business, which seems like every single company right now. I'm not sure about the cost though, so we will have to keep an eye on that. However, the budget for AI among companies is growing immensely, and it is now a top spending priority. Thinking outside of just their chip sales though, there is more to Nvidia: their data centers. The Nvidia data center platform is the world's leading accelerated computing solution, deployed by the largest supercomputing centers and enterprises around the world. Their data centers in Q3 had a revenue of $14.51 billion, up by 41% from Q2 and up by 279% from a year ago. This now makes up a significant part of their overall revenue. So their data centers are market leading right now, and the demand is mad, and this is a real driver for Nvidia's growth. At the heart of their data center dominance is their GPU technology. Complementing these GPUs is Nvidia's strategic incorporation of InfiniBand, which is a high-speed networking solution. InfiniBand enhances Nvidia's data center offerings by providing high throughput and low latency, which is absolutely crucial for efficiently handling large volumes of data, which is of course a requirement for training AI models. Nvidia's CEO said that by replacing CPUs for Nvidia's GPUs in data centers, they could do 44 times the work, whilst reducing the power consumption to less than a third of what is required for CPUs. And this isn't even on their soon-to-be released H200s. I think 2024 and onwards will continue to be big for Nvidia, and remember they have some of the largest customers in the entire world. But the stock is currently trading at close to $500 a share after a massive 237% increase, taking the stock from $143 this time last year to nearly $500 now. Surely it is too expensive to buy. And Nvidia now has a market cap so large that it is part of the exclusive $1 trillion company market cap club. Despite the high stock price and massive run-up that we've seen, Nvidia's price to earnings ratio actually indicates that the stock is relatively cheap now compared to its historical averages. Stock price is sometimes just an arbitrary number, and it doesn't always make sense. So thinking about Nvidia, you could argue that although it's basically back at all-time highs, it is still relatively cheap due to its earnings growth outpacing the market cap increase. Other metrics like forward PE and PEG are also in support of this. Outside of just the financial metrics though, it is clear that their products are in strong demand and they have many aligned catalysts upcoming. There is strong market strength and the macroeconomic situation seems to be improving, which could be more favorable for them, and then they are positioned in a sector where we expect to see continual growth. And given that Nvidia is expected to grow their earnings and increase their revenue in the upcoming 12 months, a case could be made that actually there's a lot more room to grow. But remember, I'm not saying that other competitors like AMD may not offer a good buying opportunity now as well. In addition, their margins are leading. Their gross margins are what you would expect to see in software. except they are selling hardware. Now I'm sure these will come down and they won't stay at the current levels for the rest of time, especially as competition ramps up. But this does show their power in one of the fastest growing markets right now. Oh, and we've got Nvidia's free cash flow, which is allowing them to reinvest into the business into further research and development projects. And right now it does seem like they have somewhat of the pricing power. Nvidia's current stock price of nearly $500 a share is pretty expensive. And this makes us wonder, will they actually do a stock split in 2024? Now we do have fractional shares, which are a wonderful, wonderful thing, which actually means that stock splits aren't as important as they once were for making shares more accessible and more affordable for investors. Having said that, there are other benefits to doing a stock split, and it does make me think, will Nvidia actually do one soon? I put out a poll on X to ask this, and you can see that actually the majority of people who voted on my post think that it's possible Nvidia do a stock split in 2024. And they are no strangers to stock splits. They've already done 5, with the most recent one being in 2021 when they did a 4-to-1 stock split. The share price when that was announced was just under $600 a share. So if they don't do one in 2024, when we are now pretty much at $500 a share, I wouldn't anticipate that they would leave it too much longer. Maybe we'll see one in the upcoming few years, if not 2024. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. So what's my strategy moving forward? Well, like I just said, I only recently in the last few weeks actually added Nvidia stock to my portfolio. So over 2024, I plan to accumulate as many shares as I possibly can. But if you want a live update each and every time I buy or sell any position, including Nvidia inside of my portfolio, consider joining the Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description below. If this video has provided you with any value, I just ask that you please give it a like and even consider subscribing to this channel if you want. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll be back with another very shortly.